what I would say. I know it sounds weird to say. Wow, this can actually move. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over a Jeep Wrangler with the RMT Off-Road package. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Wrangler. Check out the inventory in the description down below. This one is available for sale if you're interested. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So powering this RMT Off-Road Wrangler, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the RMT Off-Road Wrangler. So you guys can see we have the standard Wrangler hood. This package is built off of a Sport Wrangler. I'll show you guys both window stickers at the end of the video. But anyways, notice here with the lights, we have the halogen lights, and then we have the standard turn signals. And then notice here how it's darker in coloration, and then same with the grille because we have the satin front grille, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. We have a winch with synthetic cable, which is a lot safer than steel cable. And then you guys can see here with the tow hooks slash recovery hooks, these things are pretty hardcore. And I love the coloration on them. Definitely pops out quite a bit. But you can see really aggressive from a front end perspective. And I'm just showing this to you guys now so that you kind of know what the whole setup looks like underneath with the upgraded suspension, shocks, and all of that. And then you can still see the solid front axle. Definitely a cool setup. But there you go. So coming around the side here, we've got 17-inch wheels, which you guys can see are beadlock wheels. And wrapped around those 17-inch wheels, we have 37s. That is right, and it's such a cool looking setup. But you guys can see here with the ring, how that matches the tow hooks there on the front end, which I think is definitely a cool aesthetic. And you can see these are mud terrain tires, super aggressive from an appearance perspective. Now, we do have a 3-inch suspension lift. We also have the Fox Adventure Series shocks, as you can see. And I showed this to you guys earlier, but notice everything that has been done underneath from a suspension standpoint. This does have a speedo recalibration as well, and so yeah, definitely, I mean, it's a cool looking setup with how it's painted to match. And yeah, definitely interested to see how that drives. But taking a few steps back, here's your full side view on this Wrangler. Looks pretty aggressive, really aggressive actually. And then notice this matches the wheels. We've got the rock rails as well. You can see these set up here in the rear. And then notice again with those Adventure Series shocks here for the rear. And then I'll kind of pop underneath so you guys can see the setup here in the back. Notice this, look at it, the springs are painted in the rear too. Cool attention to detail here on the RMT. So here's a key fob. We have our unlock, lock, remote start, and then you've got the little flip out key as well. Got the Jeep logo there on the back. And I'm interested to see how heavy this is with the spare 37, which we'll go over in a minute. Oh, it's actually not bad at all. And you can see the normal little JL thing here. Now this is a hard top, so you can easily just pick that up if you want. But anyways, you can see the storage space in here with our little RMT Overland bag. And then notice we got a 12-volt back here. And you know, normal Jeep setup in the rear. Nothing too crazy, so I don't want to focus on that too much. Yeah, that's not heavy whatsoever, really. But here's the spare tire again with another beadlock wheel, which is definitely cool. Look how they have like the camera angled here, and the tire's kind of like angled up a little bit. It's kind of interesting. And then again with the recovery hook there in the back, notice that's painted as well. And then here is the view of the rear. Again, looks super cool. I dig it. Now popping to the interior, you guys can see the padding here on the door panel and then the netting down below. And then we just have the regular sport cloth seats here inside this Wrangler. Notice the vents here with the window controls, cup holders down below. Got the cloth floor mats. So nothing's changed from a rear perspective. So yeah. Now popping here to the front, again, notice the padding here, and then we've got our mirror adjustments with our door lock and unlock, and then quick look at the mirrors. And then here are the front seats, again, normal cloth seats that come with the Sport. And if you guys don't like these seats for some reason, you could easily like just do a cat skin swap and make the seats match all of the red coloration if you wanted to go crazy. There's a pedal layout, got the light controls here, and then the fog light. The steering wheel is manually adjustable. But let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel with the Wrangler. Notice the padding all around and then the darker stitching on the center. We have our cruise control, radio controls here on the back of the steering wheel. Controls for the center stack, voice command, phone controls, turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock as well. And, well, there's the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. You guys can see the RPMs there on the left side and the speed over on the right side. And then you got that screen there in the center, which will show you different bits of information here on the Wrangler, including the off-road status, which is pretty important. See what the tire pressures are set up with the cold pressure. But yeah, that's all for that. And then notice again with all the red here around it, which is pretty cool. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, popping it into reverse, you can see you've got the backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And then moving from that, we do have dual zone climate, which we've got to turn all the way down because it's getting kind of toasty. Heated seats, which is definitely a nice luxury feature to have. This one comes with navigation too. It's a loaded up Sport, well, Sport S to be exact. Got the off-road pages as well, and there you go. Now down below here, we've got our dual zone climate controls, controls for the heated seats. We have our off-road cruise control. We've got the window controls here in the center, and then notice with all the little charging ports. And yes, there's literally red trim like everywhere in the interior. Auxiliary switches for auxiliary items you want to add. There's 4 of them. A little bit of extra storage space. Shifter for the 8-speed automatic. And then notice we have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel high, neutral, and then 4-wheel low. And then the red continues here around the cup holders. And then notice we've got a normal Jeep center console. And then it's also on the front face there. Normal glove box. Got the grab handle. And then being a hard top, it has the normal hard top function with being able to take off the front 2 pieces pretty easily. And then the rear, you just have to use some tools. And there you go. So here's a window sticker for this Wrangler before the RMT package. Just so you guys can see the equipment that this has from a Jeep Wrangler Sports perspective, right? But it's the Sport S, as you guys can see. And then here is the rest of the options on this one. This is the most loaded up Sport Wrangler I've ever seen in my entire life. $49,490. So this is like more expensive than a base model Rubicon to start off with, which is pretty crazy. Now let's go over the RMT Overland package here. So you guys can see again all of the options that this adds that we kind of went over. But the big thing, right, it's compliant and 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty on all of the parts. So here's the total price, $69,062.50. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's go over visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are setting off here in this RMT Off-Road Jeep Wrangler. And I do believe this is the first time I've ever driven an RMT Wrangler. I know that I've reviewed quite a few of their packages on the trucks, but I don't think I've ever done a Wrangler before. So this is going to be an interesting and unique experience for me, to say the least. And look at that Brabus G-Wagon right there, definitely cool. But anyways, ride quality still rides like a Wrangler. So yeah, when you go over bumps and everything, you feel it. These mud terrain tires are definitely a little bit rougher than what you'd get if you had just like a regular all-terrain tire. But obviously these are going to be way more aggressive and way better for off-road use, and that's kind of what this package is, hence the RMT Off-Road name, right? Braking feels normal, which is great. The steering, that's something that is interesting. I didn't even notice it. That's good though. So steering's solid with this. So they definitely did a good job with the calibration from a steering perspective, because I didn't even like. Normally with Jeeps, you're kind of like, this is really weird, but this actually feels solid. Okay, so continuing along, something else I wanted to mention is seating position, super solid. You definitely sit pretty high up. That's just normal Wrangler thing. V6 is getting us up and moving. It's a pretty windy day today, but hardtop definitely keeps the interior insulated quite a bit. Yeah, I like the feel of this so far though. From an off-road perspective, what I would say. I know it sounds weird to say. Wow, this can actually move. those 37s. I was a little bit worried about that since this is built off of a Sport. I was like, is this really going to be able to get up and move? But yeah, it moves the 37s quite well, so that's also a big positive. But when I say from an off-road perspective, like this is definitely like more of a focused vehicle. Like the Wrangler is already like the most focused SUV, that and the new Ford Bronco for like off-road use, right? You have to concede a little bit from, you know, on-road comfort and ride quality for the off-road prowess that you get. And this is even more so on that. So let's sum things up here with the RMT Off-Road Wrangler. First off, this thing looks amazing. I like the red accents that contrast the darker coloration on this one. I think it looks great. Interior, I mean, again, I like this stuff, but one thing that, you know, I would personally do if I got this vehicle, and this is just me personally, but some of you might just be okay with cloth seats, is I'd probably just do like a seat swap, right? I would just swap it out for, I mean, if you wanted a neutral color, do like black, but if you wanted to go crazy, do red seats. That would be pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, this is cool. This is a cool looking package, and you know, it does increase the off-road capability of a Sport, and this is still cheaper than, you know, what it would be if you did this with a Rubicon, you know, loaded up, because the loaded up Rubicon, you're already like, what, $60,000. If you do like a base model Rubicon, you know, you're gonna be about the same price. So I guess that would be an interesting question to ask yourself. Would you rather do this or base model Rubicon and get this package? But you wouldn't get as many creature comforts in a base model Rubicon. So yeah, that'd be tough. But anyways, I love this. I'm glad that RMT makes this package because it looks cool, and it's cool that we're finally being able to get cool off-road packages like this, but with a warranty. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this RMT Off-Road Wrangler. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Crest here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with the Wrangler. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.